So House of the Dragon episode 8 has just dropped, and as always, an amazing episode. Takes the story further. The characters are more compelling than ever. We've grown over the 7 episodes that we've gotten and the 8 this week. And this week's episode gave Viserys, one last time to make things right with his family before, he finally passes on. This decaying, dying king mastered all his strength to sit on the throne one last time, to defend Rhaenyra, his beloved daughter, and also to defend her sons, a legitimate Targaryen and Valyrian in his eyes. Seeing Daemon offer help to his dying brother, that was just heartbreaking. Say what you will about Daemon, but when he truly cares about you, especially his own family, his inner circle, he will truly be there for you. He also attempted to bridge the divided family. As we all know, Rhaenyra and Alicent haven't been the same since we saw them in the first 2 episodes. So he essentially made them organize this, should I say, large supper for the family before, he knows his time is at his end. Just an emotional filled scene. He removed his mask, showed his true self to his family, told them how much he loved them and how they should come together and grow stronger instead of dividing, which would destroy the house Targaryen. And as the scene went on, we saw smiles on everyone's faces. It looks like they were having a good time, but in my mind I was like, shit is about to go down after Viserys dies. But that smile on Viserys' face, knowing that he may have at last brought peace to his family, and the concerned look on Daemon's face, knowing that his brother is in pain even though he's smiling at last, wow, it really hits you in the feels. Now, even after some of the happy moments, I still felt like the other shoe was about to drop. Because after Rhaenyra and Alicent spoke their own and tried to make peace, and their last scene together, we saw that, it felt genuine. Only for Viserys to do what Viserys does and just mess everything up by speaking to the wrong person. So in the ending scene, you may have asked yourself some questions. Did Viserys really die? And what exactly did he say to Alicent about the Song of Ice and Fire? And did Alicent also understand what he said? And what were Viserys' last words? And also, what's next for the final 2 episodes and the next season and maybe further? And to answer the first question, yes, Viserys is really dead. He held on as long as he could. This guy, I feel for him. As each episode went on, he kept losing parts of himself. He kept holding on to parts of himself too. And this episode, we saw that he was literally one step away from the grave. Now, in the last scene, we saw him take a lot of breaths, which sounded like he was taking his last breath. He was in a lot of pain. And the preview for the next episode even confirms, his death. And his last words were, "My love." And how the scene is framed and how he reaches his hand and his confusion overall makes me think that he's talking about his wife Aemma, his beloved dead wife that he keeps confusing other people for, specifically Alicent in the last episode. He's also positioned the same way as Aemma when she was on the deathbed. He reached his hand, the same hand he held on to Aemma with, and the same hand he kissed when he was alone last episode. Of course, the one with his ring on it. He only has one hand left. With tears in his eye, him whispering "my love" to his dead wife, hoping to join her soon and reaching his hand to her. That was the end. Now, before that, when Alicent was with him, did she really understand what he said to her? The answer is nope. Those words were meant for Rhaenyra. Remember the night before, Rhaenyra came to him, asked him to support her, and then she asked him about the Song of Ice and Fire, whether he believed it to be true. So in this night, he believes that it is Rhaenyra who is with him, and that's why he says yes. He believes in what the prophecy said about Aegon's dream, the prince who was promised. And of course, Alicent doesn't know about the Song of Ice and Fire because those words or prophecy were not meant for her. It is meant for the heir to the throne. And so she confuses the whole thing about it being about her son Aegon II. She thinks that he wants Aegon to succeed the throne, unite everyone after his death. And one question that people might also be asking is that, is Corlys Velaryon alive? Most of the episode revolved around that, since his death was the reason why they were fighting for the succession of Driftmark. They said he was wounded and that he had a fever, which means that he had an infection, which is pretty deadly when you think about the time period they are in. And so in the books, spoilers alert, is almost the same story, down to Vaemon declaring, his succession to the throne of Driftmark, insulting Rhaenyra and her children and all that. Daemon beheads him, but in the books, Rhaenyra feeds his head to her dragon. And also, what you've been waiting to hear, Corlys does survive, and that's a very good news for Rhaenys. Hopefully next episode, she at least gets some comfort and happiness in knowing that her husband is still alive and they reunite. Now finally, I want to talk about the final arc in this, House of the Dragon show, because I think the next couple of seasons, if they decide to renew more seasons, that is going to center around this arc, unless they also want to branch out from this arc and move forward in a couple of more seasons after that. So spoilers alert. So after Viserys dies, Alicent seats her son Aegon II on the throne, as per what she confused his last words to be. Now the houses are now divided in two, should I say the two sides in this fight for the throne. That is Team Alicent, who is for the Greens, and then Team Black, who is Rhaenyra. And this sparks this very important arc, Dance of the Dragon. Rhaenyra believes her to be the true heir because the king didn't name her, and she is rightfully the one who's supposed to succeed. And this civil war just filled with bloodshed here and there, and it doesn't just take maybe a year or two for this to end. It takes multiple years, and both sides suffer much losses. So from here on out, the next episode, the end of the season, this arc is going to begin, and the next couple of seasons is just going to center on this massive arc. Maybe if they want to take the show further and go past this, then I think we'll have a new story at our hands, much like how Game of Thrones did. But hopefully this is good. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode, how crazy and how emotional this episode was. I think compared to the other episodes, some of them were emotional, but this just takes the cake. Now let me know in the comments below, are you Team Alicent or Team Rhaenyra? And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, it helps the channel out. Subscribe and turn on that post notification bell not to miss any other video. As always, Ned is AG here. See you guys in the next one.